All right, guys. Today we are gonna be reacting to chat humble feminists who think they don't need men. Jump in.
Black person. Does this question become racist? Like, if you were to answer, I'd rather pick a bear over a black person.
Is it a black girl? Because I'd pick the black girl. Absolutely.
No, it's just a random black person, so it could be.
It doesn't matter their race. If it is a man, I will choose the bear.
So
if it
it's
is a woman,
sexist.
No.
it is.
But
There we go.
You
but
can
hold
say
on.
that if
But
you want,
so
because a
hold on.
woman.
It
A
is.
woman
But so
a woman-
let's say somebody,
not.
let's say somebody picked the bear over black person. Is it racist?
Look at her having a conscious listening. Wow, bro. Thank God I'm not sending my kids to school, man. They're gonna be homeschooled. Thank God, man. Look at this, guys. Wow.
It's,
It is. I'm black.
no, but so, hold on.
I'm black.
But is it racist?
Look at that.
That's not off of my experience. I don't feel that way, and I'm not part of the POC community.
Here. Let me explain it a little bit. So let's say
Well,
somebody.
I got a better way to.
Let me just
go ahead.
ask it, and
Yeah,
then
go
I'll
ahead.
pass it to you, Andrew. So
I think that would be prejudice more than racism.
No. You start to fix it.
It's word.
Prejudice.
That's semantics. It's
Yeah.
okay,
It's
so
different,
So let's say
actually.
So somebody, let's say
different words.
a white girl.
Yeah, chat is playing game right now. Yeah, that's good. That's good. He's saying, okay, I know what's up with her. See, she want to get his attention. She want him to get triggered. He know what's up.
had 3 bad experiences with 3 different black men, and for this reason, she doesn't want to. She'd pick the bear over the black man. Is it racist? Because of her past experiences with black men. And she says, I don't care, even if, because you said earlier, even if it's a 1% chance, I still pick the bear over the man.
But it was still a man that she picked, versus.
What? Hold on.
I mean,
It's
it was
just-
still a bear that.
Okay, she had 2 bad experiences with a black man and 2 bad experiences with a black woman. And collectively, she's deciding, I pick the bear over the black person because I've had prior bad experiences with black people. Is it racist?
No, I think it would be racist if it was a white man versus a black man. If
Wait,
those,
what?
if-
Wow.
if that was- wait,
Oh my
if
God.
if we're talking about race here, that
Wow.
would be a more
No, but
parallel
the-
situation.
Because
Well,
it's a
it is.
man.
No, but
If
it's
you
a
put
black
two
person.
people, no, if you put 2 people in a forest, if we're saying instead, if we swapped out the bear, if we wanted to make this really even, it would be racist if it was a white man in the forest versus a black man in the forest. And she said she picked the white over that for that reason, for that logic. But still picking a bear over a man,
No, it's not a man. It's a black person.
you said black man.
A black person.
No,
I think the question you're trying to ask.
You see how they're trying to deviate the conversation. You see how they did it? You see how they did it? They haven't answered the question, but they start adding these nuances, and that way they can disseminate the question and then move to the next topic. Wow.
Took your logic and applied that to other things, it would make no damn sense. So back to what I was saying real quick. I just think that it just wouldn't make no sense. What's being shown is, ladies and gentlemen, because I can't convince nobody here, people out there in YouTube, StreamYard land, this is why men are leaving, because women are on board with each other despite logic and science. It's all about women. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to have any logic. It's women overall. And women who feel like that are not making it better.
Even at expense of self-destruction, guys. Even at the expense of self-destruction.
Other women coming up. Because men want to be with women, despite what it looks like, despite all the statistics. We do love you. We do want to be with you. But if you have this mentality, it's going to make men remove themselves from you in all areas. And I hate to bust your bubble, ladies. You need us.
Excuse me?
You do need us. You do need
There
us.
is a male loneliness epidemic that's going on, but that is
Same with
not.
females.
Yeah, women
Women over.
But men are violent when they're incels.
Yes, women over, like, you can pull up the exact statistic because it is somewhere.
I have it in front of me, but
Yeah.
the female loneliness epidemic is almost on par with the male. They report being lonely at almost the exact same rates.
People are lonely.
Yes, but what I'm saying is women who are over a certain age, who are childless, who are not in a relationship,
Because there's
report
breasts.
to have the it's on the internet. I'm sure. I don't have my phone, so I can't look up the exact thing, but I'm sure someone else
They
can.
report having heavier amounts of mental health issues.
Yep.
They report having heavier amounts of dissatisfaction. They report having heavier amounts.
I think we're reading very different surveys.
Well, I don't think so. What you're talking about is an article. What I'm talking about is the actual data, which is backing this up, not an article, which then mints
I'm
the
talking
data.
about a survey.
But this isn't just for women, right? This is men as well. When they get in their 30s or 40s and they're childless or don't have a family, they also report much higher dissatisfaction rates, higher frames of mental illness. They make less money. They have less incentives. They have less motivations. Basically, people need each other, right? That's the general motivation. If you were to look at this, though, I'd have to ask you this. I was listening to what you were saying, and I thought it made sense. But you said the thing that validates it is experience, and because it's experience, it's not really sexist. The thing that gets me with that is like, what if an employer was a man and he didn't want to ever hire women because he'd had really bad experiences with them? That couldn't be sexist, right? By that same logic, could it? Hang on, let her answer. That couldn't be sexist.
What were the experiences?
There we go. This is how they disseminate the question. This is how they do it. They answer the question with another question, so it becomes this pattern that they disseminate the question. So now it becomes her own question and her own answer.
All of the women in his life
They made
raping him.
let's say that several of them made false allegations, and several of them underperformed, and several of them but he had nothing but negative experiences with them. And since that is what informed him in his hiring practices, and that was his experience, isn't he then justified in not hiring them? And wouldn't it not be sexist then, because it's based on experience?
So I'm going to have two parts, and I would like if everyone could allow me to finish all the way before interrupting. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What I would say about that is it is sexist because we're talking about pay, and underperforming is not the same as being essayed. As someone who
We're not talking about pay.
Yeah.
We're just talking about hiring.
Hiring.
Yeah,
If you're hiring someone, you're hiring them to pay them for a job
Wow, that's a stretch.
that you're hiring them for.
That's a stretch. That is a
That
stretch.
has nothing to do with your relationship. You don't have to date them. You don't have to spend time with them.
You don't have to date the man in the forest.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything with the man in the forest.
But aren't you saying that they would be skeptical?
Oh, there we go. The reason she's jumping in because she know where's Andrew's heading. She knows it, so she have to jump in and save her.
Why wouldn't we be skeptical going into that?
I'm just telling you, it's the same logic. That's all. It's the same logic applied.
So what I'm saying though is from personal experience, what I was explaining from personal experience as someone who has been essayed, I would rather take my own life than have that happen again. And
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
understand
saying is there is nothing worse for me, in my opinion.
Appealing to emotions.
This is my opinion. There is nothing that someone can do worse to you than that.
I'm not disputing any of that.
So what I'm saying is underperforming and having the worst thing done to you cannot even be equated in this situation.
Okay, wait. Let's back up though, because I understand exactly what you're saying. It makes total sense to me. This is the most horrific thing you could ever think of, and so you're going to select against that thing because this thing happening to you again, you'd rather anything else, including getting eaten by a bear, happen than the thing. I completely understand that. The question is not whether or not SA is really, really bad and you had a traumatic experience with it, though. The question is that it's sexist regardless
There we
of
go.
how it's
Yo, we went from that question that Andrew's asking to something that happens to her. You see how they do it? This is going to be a project, man. People like Andrew, some of these guys, Raul Tomasi, Martin Gaines, a lot of these guys, this is going to be a project for years, guys. This is going to take years to just redisseminate. This was a small encounter. And you see how she brought the entire argument to herself to control the conversation? Insane.
You said, no, it's not sexist because that is my experience. And it's like, okay, then if it's not sexist because it's your experience, then a man who was falsely accused of SA in his hiring practices, let's say, would be completely justified never hiring a woman again by the same logic, because he says this is the worst thing. Hang on, I'm almost done. I just let you finish. He could use the same logic. He could say, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Nothing worse. I can never imagine anything worse than this. I'd rather anything happen than this again. So he refuses to hire a woman that's totally justified based on his experience. The same logic back.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. If that is the situation, initially you said underperforming and you listed a
So
couple
then
of
it's
other
not
things.
sexist.
Yes,
So then he's
it's
not being sexist.
If we're
right?
talking about that, then yeah, that wouldn't be sexist.
Yeah, right. So
if
then
we're- yeah.
any man who's ever had a false allegation against him, right, and then refuses to hire women after that because of that false allegation, you think that's totally valid?
I think that's valid. Yes. Why put yourself in that
it's
situation?
not sexist, right?
Yeah. Don't put
Okay,
yourself in
well
that
then,
situation.
then
That's
if
fine.
I gave you a list of men who that's happened to, right? Like, well, I can name a couple, but the thing is, the point is that if I gave you a list of like Fortune 500 company executive CEOs who said that they want to advocate a policy that no more women get hired by their company because such a thing did happen to them,
Are they
you
working
would
with those
never
women
say
though?
that that was sexist, right?
Well, that's different if they're CEOs and they're completely detached from ever interacting with any of those women. I said it wouldn't be sexist for them to not want to work with those women.
No, that's not what you said.
But have
That's
those
not
when
what you
I'm
just
thinking
changed
I'm
the
thinking of
whole
like a
goalpost.
restaurant
Yeah.
owner. I'm thinking of, someone who has to have someone they're hiring women and those women are directly working with them. That's what I envisioned when you said women work for them and hiring women, and because they're interacting with them and they don't want that.
I would assume that based on what you told me your experience is, being anywhere near a situation which could potentially lead to that, which is what we're talking about, spawning into a forest with a random man or a random bear, right? Just the fact you said if it's even 1% that you would not choose that. The CEO of the company is saying the same thing. If it's even 1%,
Wow.
even though I'm detached from these people, I'm definitely not going to hire them. It's the
Good
same
argument.
exact logic.
Good argument.
Same.
No, because if you're the CEO, there is
Ah.
not even a 1% chance that you're going to interact with those people. You're not going
No,
down and
you said
hanging
if
out
it's
with them.
even, meaning if it was
Yes.
less than that, you still wouldn't take it. You said if it's
Yes,
anything,
yes,
if it's
you're
any
not-
percentile,
what
if there's any
CEO
chance.
is going
So
and
here, I'm going to
interacting
prove
with
it to you.
them?
I'll prove it to you. Do you think, statistically, that a woman could accuse you of SA easier if you hire them or if you don't hire them? So if they
Jeff
if they- if you-
Bezos hired me and then I accused him of that after never meeting him, I think it would be just as invalid if I was
That's
not
not the
hired
question.
by him. Actually, I think it would be more invalid because then
That's
it's
not the
like,
question.
Yeah, but
No
the
paper
whole
trail.
point here is the disassociation. The idea here is this. It's not whether or not the chances would be unlikely for both, just which thing there'd be a higher chance for.
I don't
In this
see
case,
any
of course, the chance would be higher that if a woman doesn't in any way or any capacity have anything to do with your company or you, her chance of accusing you of SA significantly go down versus her being closer to you. So if that's the case, same logic as if there was any percentage at all that this could ever happen to me, I'm choosing the bear. And that's totally appropriate and not sexist. And the reason it's not sexist is because it comes from a place of experience. That would be the same thing for a CEO.
Can I try?
Damn.
So
And there we go. There you go. She had to jump in to save her. Got on. Now Chad over here or Tyrone is showing respect to Andrew. You see how they do that? Now he's smiling like, okay, Andrew, okay. I see you, Andrew. Probably at the beginning they were having a little bit of roughy, right? Because they kind of trying to alpha each other. I understand that dynamic, but look at him. Now he's respecting Andrew because of the logic behind it. The line of logic. And the dude is a smart dude. He's a very smart dude. So he's one of those top. Experience really helped him a lot. So he's actually, I will say, he's contributing a lot for the conversation. So I'm glad that he's there for the panel.
Sexist, to be
I would like her to just
racist.
finish real quick. We're almost done. Almost done with the exchange. I would just like to finish it real quick. Can you speak to that real quick? Because it's the same logic. That's why I don't understand.
I think that it's not the same logic only for the reason that you are physically in the company of one and the CEO is not physically in the company or physically in danger of being in a compromising position with one of their 12,000, 60,000 employees, whatever crazy number they have.
If there's any percentage,
Yes, but there wouldn't be a percentage if they never interacted with them.
You would never do it.
They would never interact with
So
them.
Brian
I'm
asked you this. He asked you.
confused.
He said, if the chances were, and he gave you a low say. He said, if there's any chance If it's even 1%, if it's less than that, there's any chance at all that this could happen to you, then no, you're not doing it and you're picking the bear because this is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. If the CEO was falsely accused, if he was falsely accused even once, and then says, I'll never hire a woman again, just because there could be a chance, and this is the worst thing that's ever happened. It's the same thing you just said.
Okay, well, if we're going by that logic, then sure, he doesn't have to hire any woman on
there we go. She
for the
conceded.
company. With the bear situation, I said that even if it was 1% chance, I would choose dying and not getting essayed over that 1%.
Because nobody said essay. She brought it up. She's getting to that conclusion. She's getting to the conclusion it's going to be essay. But nobody said this was going to be essay. She brought it up.
A chance. My punishment or my penalty for taking that is death. His penalty for not hiring any woman is probably getting boycotted. So yeah, you can do anything you want. Technically, we're all born with free will.
Now she's just changing the goalpost.
Hold on, I do
that's
have to
your
let a couple
penalty.
things come through here.
Yeah, she just moved the goalpost. She got owned, though. She got owned. Then she's trying to just backpedaling. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you on our next one. I'm out.